you got to do your work. You got to get all your ducks in a row. Amos knows what I'm talking about. He's done it before. So it's something impressive when you're able to add something new to the school as a student council. So let's have a little patience for them. Let's have little tolerance for them. Let's not jump to the conclusion that, oh, they didn't do this or they're being unrealistic. What they are being is very proactive, very hardworking. They're taking a risk to put themselves out there, and I think I'm proud of both of these teams. I think you guys should be proud of these guys and vote for the one that you are the most proud of, I guess. Okay, thank you.
We will now proceed on to the opening speeches by the presidential candidates. By a flip of coin, Revive will go first. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, teachers, year 9s, 10, and 11s that are here. Good afternoon, Apex, and anyone else who may be watching this debate. I'm Florian, and I'm the president of this year's Student Council candidate, Revive. For most of us here, Revive members included, VSA has been our accompaniment through life, our mentor and our guide, our home away from home. Together, we have experienced generations of student councils, and I believe that we've all found one thing in common. None of them really made a lasting impact on our school lives, and somehow they all seem to have dodged our main concerns as with the school as a student body. Revive begs to differ. Our team comprises of 8 out-of-the-box thinkers. We have come together and said, no more. After 4 to 5 years of the same old stuff, we need something new. And we have the passion and the dedication to make it happen. We are not just here to run parties and give out MacBook chargers. That is the borderline expectation for a student council, and we are here to surpass that. We bring you policies that you will be positively affected by, and if anyone has read our most recent Facebook post, it outlines transparency, which is a big part of Revive's campaign. Allow me to briefly explain it. Transparency, in this case, means the line of communication between the student council and the student body. Revive will use transparency to show how we can use these established lines of communication between us and you guys to make sure everyone feels the after effects of Revive's implementations, and due to being properly and consistently informed, you will be incredibly familiar with Revive's work. This all comes down to one of our mission statements: recognize, rebuild, revive. Let me guide you through it. The first stage is recognizing the change that the VSA community needs. This is easy as we are part of you, and we pass every single school day with you. The second stage is to communicate with you, the student body, to implement policies and to take the necessary procedures that will build up and improve your school life as a whole. This includes making negotiations with the upper management and finding ways to make your school life better as a whole. Last but not least, revive, the word that we have chosen as the name for our student council. Allow me to use this opportunity to clear up some confusion. One definition for revive is to give new strength or energy to something. In our case, we will be adopting this definition as our main ideology, and we will apply it for everything we do. We will bring new energy to your school life, which will improve it overall. Therefore, we are here to be an extension of you, to bring you policies that will directly impact your school life, while still bringing you events that you will enjoy and have a good time at. We are here to redefine the limits. We believe it's time for a change. Thank you very much.
The president of APEX, you can begin.
Good afternoon, principals, teachers, and my fellow students. I am Candice Dan, president of APEX, student council candidate for next year. Before I introduce APEX, I would like to thank you all for participating in Ascend's events and activities throughout this year. The Christmas party, the Halloween event, the sports banquet, and even the recent book sales. On behalf of Ascend, I would like to truly thank you all for your constant support and belief in us. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about APEX. Firstly, I'm sure not all of you love handing in homework constantly, especially when you have a long exam week ahead of you. This is why APEX is introducing No Homework Week, where you won't have to be required to hand in any task during the course of this week before SAW, so you will be less stressed and can focus more on your assessments. We know that this seems like a far-fetched goal, But we know that the school's best interest is for the students and for everyone to do well in their assessments, and also while receiving the least amount of stress. And so achieving this goal is far from impossible. Secondly, we understand that many of you enjoy sports, especially when competing against your peers from other houses. So that's why Apex is bringing back the inter-house sports competitions for sports such as football, basketball, volleyball, or even dodgeball. We hope for you guys to display your sporting abilities whilst winning some house points for your houses. Furthermore, just like you, we've been in situations where we didn't exactly have the time or patience to line up for a simple lunch meal. So that's why we're aiming to switch up the third floor lunch queue system, as well as allow students to purchase snacks and tickets from the kiosk more efficiently. On top of that, the food vending machine will most likely be implemented by the start of next year by Apex. We hope that this introduction gave you some insight on who we are and what we strive to do for you next year. Regardless, our aim is not only to provide you a year filled with enjoyable welfare events, but also to improve how we operate as a student council. We learned from our time in Ascend that communication with the student body is of utmost importance. So as student council candidate this year, we hope to greatly improve in terms of interacting and communicating with the student body more this year. At the end of the day, you guys are the one voting for the team and the group of students that will shape your school life for the next year. And knowing that you all strive for a better future, we trust that you will make the wise and right choice to vote for the team that possesses more experience and ability. The team with clear visions and realistic goals that will deliver on with their promises. The team that's going to take the entire student body to new heights. We hope that you will vote for Apex. Thank you.
We'll now move to the open debate. Each candidate party has 4 questions for each other, and the other candidate party will have 10 seconds to prepare before answering. And now, by a flip of a coin, Revive will go first. You may present your first question.
My first question would be, so according to Apex's year plan, Apex has praised the Christmas party made by Ascend, I quote, a great success. However, it is commonly understood that all the promised games and teachers' rap battles never happened. There were problems with the shortage of drinks and over-expenditure. They also spent loads on practically the worst DJ ever. The Christmas party therefore disappointed many students. There was even a group of students that resorted to playing a game of tag in the hall. Revive therefore wonders that since all these aspects has happened during the reign of Ascend, how can Apex ensure us that they will provide us with a good party experience and will not follow the same traps that Ascend did and leave us with unfulfilled promises?
You have 10 seconds to prepare.
You stated that Ascend has some shortcomings in the Christmas party, and I want to say this is true. We were unable to complete some of the items that we've initially listed out in our Christmas party. However, I would like to state that our Christmas party this year was one of the cheapest, as well as the one with the most well-attended parties, continuing from previous years. This alone can show how great of a success it was compared to some of the previous year's Christmas parties.
Revive, you have 45 seconds with your follow-up. You can start.
Okay, so Revive begs to differ because Revive actually has a new party initiated that we proposed. It's the VSA Boiler Room Party. Essentially what that means is you guys will get a really sick EDM party, and by doing so, I'm going to perform, and by performing it, the DJ will be free, and therefore the price would be lowered. Therefore, you guys should vote for Revive because Revive actually has a new party that everyone would absolutely enjoy, whereas Apex right here would run the same old parties as Ascend. Therefore, Revive's better. Thank you.
Apex, you propose a follow-up. You have 45 seconds. Apex, you may begin.
Speaking of Christmas parties, you guys seem to be mainly selling your boiler room Christmas party, where you guys promised a revolutionary party centered around electronic music with amazing vibes. However, it's stated in your year plan that your party will include soft drinks, pizza, and a photo booth, all of which have been regular recurrences in VSA Christmas parties for the past few years. Seeing as to how EDM music has already been played by various DJs at previous VSA parties, it seems like the only innovative change you made is to the name of the party. Therefore, how is your party different from, or even better than, previous Christmas parties?
Yeah, 45 seconds.
Right, to respond to that, okay. So Revive believes that there's three main aspects that contributes to a good party. Good food, good people, and good music. And what Revive wants to do right here is we want to make sure that music is actually brought to our parties, because last year, the reason why people feel awkward when they dance is because the DJ was incredibly lacked engagement with the crowd. Therefore, we believe that by having a VSA student DJing, people will actually be prone to dancing because they feel less awkward, as well as this will create better vibes, and better vibes means better parties. So therefore, thank you very much.
Do you request a follow-up? You may proceed with your first question, Apex.
So Revive, you recently made a big deal about transparency. In your presidential speech, making Facebook posts and emphasizing it in your homeroom visits, and in particular, a sense lack of it, which you seem that we will inherit. However, the irony of this situation is that even before coming into office, Revive has already broken their promise. We noticed that you uploaded 2 versions of your year plan, the first of which was incredibly flawed with mistakes such as mismatched titles and the repeated content. Needless to say, it was a poorly produced piece of work. In the matter of a few hours, you re-uploaded the second and revised version of your year plan secretly without publicly informing the students or any indication of an apology for your careless mistakes. Not only does this reflect your inability to perform simple tasks, this also shows the hypocrisy in respect to transparency, and from this, your tendency to back out on your promises. Please tell us how the students can trust you.
We also believe that there should not be a problem between, we also believe that there is no problem that we are not ready, and this does not represent that we're not organized in any manner at all. We also want to say that if you guys don't believe that we are ready for this, we want to prove ourselves to you guys, because our innovative changes that we will bring to this. Between us, we're experienced in many other factors than the student council itself. And we want to say that we are passionate about this, and we argue that passion is over experience. And if you think that our mistakes prove us wrong, we want to prove ourselves to you that we are better and we are good. At the same time, we want to say that in your Apex's pre-planned posters, they've introduced Appreciation Week as their program. However, in your year plan, this is nowhere to be seen. Does this show the lack of organization? Unlike Revive, Apex's ideas are not structured or concrete. If you're going to waver your decisions like this, how can we expect you, or how can students expect you, to implement your actual policies?
Apex, do you request a follow-up? Do you propose to go to the next question? Okay. You may begin with your follow-up.
Well, unlike Revive, the point is that it was a mistake. You made a mistake with your year plan, and you didn't inform or have any indication of an apology for the students. The main point, you've been stressing so much about transparency, and you've shown even before coming into office your failure to keep up with it. And also, I'd like to note that Appreciation Week is in Valentine's Week, and yeah, okay.
You're right, and if you paid attention to our year plan, you would see that Appreciation Week is inside Valentine's Week and it's not a single event.
Revive, do you request a follow-up?
Okay, cool. So, right here is the problem with not having Appreciation Week in your year plan. Because, sure, you put it in your Valentine's Week, no problem, but it's a communication thing again. You guys didn't communicate with us why it's not in the year plan separately, because as you promoted first, it's a separate program, and now you combine it together, but you don't tell us. It's It's like combining something, but you don't really tell us what's actually going on. That's a clear reflection of Apex's position right now. They don't want to clarify anything, and they only care about just doing something and not really telling you guys what's happening. Thank you very much.
You just said that Apex doesn't clarify enough. I would just like to state that a lot of the things in your year plan are very vague about the specific content. So I think it's you who need to specify the contents of your year plan more in order for students to know more about your campaign.
Due to time constraints, we're going to have to move on to the second question. And I would also like to remind the audience to stay quiet when they're answering the question. I welcome applause afterwards, but can you just stay quiet while they're answering the questions? Because we don't have a lot of time. Revive, your question.
So last debate, Apex brought up a point against the Secretary of Promotion for supposedly having hair accessories that were against the school rules. However, after reviewing the school rules, Revive has found out that Apex has made a false accusation. No rules were actually violated. With such an accusation, this shows Apex's lack of knowledge about the school rules. So how will Apex be a suitable representative for the student body? Furthermore, if Apex is so ready to attack us without proof or proper knowledge, what would this entail for an Apex-led school year?
Yes, we admit that we made some of a mistake about not clearly investigating the hair accessories. However, it's come to our attention that your team is not very good with following the rules either. It has come to our knowledge that you, during your campaign process, you were using Campus TV cameras, with, which is against the Campus TV policy, which says that the Campus TV photography equipment should only be used for Campus TV methods. How do you respond to this?
I'd also like to remind both candidate parties that we do have an internal rule that everyone must speak once. Just a reminder. Do you guys request a follow-up? 45 seconds, you go.
Okay, Revive would like to clarify that their claim about Campus TV is rather redundant because, yes, we did borrow it, however, that's just for an hour. And we never really used it because Knox just came along and just said we can't use it. So we followed the rules and returned it back. Therefore, our entire video was actually filmed on a point and shoot. And to film that kind of video with point and shoot and without many resources, we believe that we actually made a really, really amazing video without any equipment by Campus TV because we never really used it and we actually followed the rules and we gave it back to Knox. Therefore, Revive would believe that we actually follow the rules because whenever people tell us that we have to return stuff back to them, we just return stuff back to them. We don't say, oh, can we use it again or something, because we know it's violating the school rules. Therefore, Revive wants to
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Apex, do you request a follow-up? You have 45 seconds.
So the problem is not that you used it for 1 hour, it's you broke the rule. So why don't we go through the step-by-step of what exactly happened, because you guys seem to have forgotten about it. You guys took the equipment without permission, violating Campus TV rules. Clause 1. Any equipment borrowed will only be used for purposes related to Campus TV operations. Filming or promotion of video is clearly unrelated to Campus TV purposes. And you took the equipment without the following of the correct borrowing procedure or consulting the senior management or team. While performing a regular equipment check for upcoming Chinese Cultural Day, the head of Campus TV noticed that a camera and a microphone were missing. And according to the list of the members, 2 of your members are actually in Campus TV for 2 years, and you have not known of this rule for 2 years. Thank you.
Revive, do you request a follow-up? No. We will proceed on to the second question from Apex.
The entire premise of your cabinet is to propose new and exciting ideas. So let's take a look at your year plan. Out of your 19 ideas, 12 of which includes hair dryers, decorating the school, and printing services, which has already been proposed by previous student councils. On the other hand, the only fresh ideas you've contributed are better Meatless Mondays or summer fiestas, which I know is awfully similar to the Spirit Week. You guys constantly stated that you wanted to be an extension of the student body, but it seems like you guys are an extension of old ideas. You have stated that you will take a new approach, but to be honest, none of these are actually new that can revive the school. So please tell us how you actually aim to fulfill your promise to rejuvenate the school.
So I want to clarify that in our year plan, in the mission part, we have said that, and I quote, acknowledging and appreciating what previous student councils have done, but understanding that more work and effort must be put in to ensure the full execution and effectiveness of our policies. So to respond to the question, yes, there are policies which are similar to previous student councils, but we are here to actually bring this to life, or at least to make efforts to negotiate with the school, which we witnessed that some of the previous student councils have not done to the best of their abilities. And so this is why we say we have a new platform, because we want to ensure the transparency that we are communicating to you, and every single progress that we make will be, the student body, you will be informed of it. Thank you. Apex, you have 45 seconds.
Alright, now you mentioned rejuvenate the school. Do you plan to do that by installing hooks on top of urinals and to actually add sanitary products?
So what we're doing is for the student body. We realize that some females do have issues with that. Therefore, if we provide feminine products installation to the female washrooms, we try to prevent that and prevent embarrassment for the female students in our school. And also for the hooks, if you've been to the toilet, the floor is actually really dirty. And there are places that we can install hooks in the boys' bathroom. I mean, in both bathrooms on the 9th floor. And we will therefore install it so that we can also help with the students. So, thank you.
Can you specify which part of the boys' bathroom the hooks will be installed in?
So, have you ever been to the boys' bathroom?
Audience!
So, if you've been to the boys' bathroom, there are walls, okay? There are walls. So you just stick it to the walls, and then we have a hook in the bathroom. Simple.
I'd like to ask if you've been in the boys' bathroom, because the only wall is the one that separates, the one with next to the mirror that separates like the urinals and the line of sight with the door. And from there, I think you can fit like 3, maybe 4 hooks. I don't see how that can benefit an entire class. Otherwise, there can also be the walls on the urinal, and unless if you're planning to put it above there, I honestly don't see how your hooks can work. Thank you.
I can bring you to the boys' bathroom if you want to. There is space, and then, therefore, if you vote for us, we will prove it to you guys next year. We will install the hooks in the toilet.
Apex, do you propose to follow up?
Okay, so now how about we take a closer look into your year plan. You propose countless initiatives without factoring in the logistics and intricacies of the process, such as the printing service operating in the student council room, which is frankly impossible to achieve. This is because your year plan isn't a plan, it is a mess of vague, non-descriptive, and unfeasible ideas. Revive is built on empty promises, false hopes, and is a fabricated premise.
Apex, that was not a follow-up. You can save your questions for later, but if we're going to move on to the next question, then Revive will go first. Apex, unless you can explain how that was a follow-up, we're going to proceed with Revive.
So basically, it wasn't really phrased that well, but we're trying to say how your logistics weren't really explained properly in your year plan, which led to our confusion as to how you would implement these hooks. We weren't really clear, not saying it's Minnie's fault, but we weren't really clear, and we would like to apologize. But your year plan really wasn't clear, and and we try to attribute this argument to your unclear year plan. We're sorry for the misunderstanding.
Revive, do you propose a follow-up? You can move on to your next question.
During the last debate, we have touched upon the issue of transparency and communication. And then Apex has suddenly came on board with what we were saying by mentioning that for the first time ever in their campaign, that one of their goals for the coming year was to be more transparent with the student body. This shows that Apex is prone to going with the flow and doesn't actually have a fixed idea for the campaign. Given how unsure you guys are of yourselves and your objectives as a student council, how can the student body expect you to do any effective work?
You have 4 seconds left to prepare.
I'd like to say that that is utterly untrue. We with 3 members of Ascend, understand the problems that Ascend have faced and the challenges and the intricacies of being a student council. We understood that transparency was of utmost importance, and it is one of the main plans we're doing, and it has always been one of the main plans and one of the premises of Apex. Thank you.
Perhaps it has been one of the main plans, but the thing is that no one in Apex ever mentioned it. And now, for example, in Revive's case, in our disclaimers for our posts, we always make sure that transparency is there because we say that it is one of our main things we want to improve and we want to focus on. You say that it is one of the things you want to focus on, but it was only last debate, and now this debate, that we have heard you say it for the first time. In your posts and whatever, you threw out your whole campaign, you did not mention transparency a single time until the debate.
Your proposal.
We'd like to say that that this is one of our main goals. And with you stepping on our Ascend and our transparency, what other option did we have? Like, we obviously have, I mean, like, it wasn't necessarily explicitly stated, but it was always there, and it wasn't necessary to call it out. And
one of our main goals for this year is trying to allow all students to reach the apex of their enjoyment and be happy throughout the entire school year. Our main premise is not to be transparent with everyone. That's not our main goal. And because you guys said, and because you guys tried to step on us and say that, oh, we're not transparent and trying to prove that you guys are, we just tried to prove to you that we will strive to be as transparent as we can be, just to update all students with what we're doing.
45 seconds.
The point is that you guys, last debate, you guys said one of our main things we want to focus on is transparency. Right now, you just said one of the main things you want is for people to be happy. That is a contradiction.
One of them implies that there are various ones. One of them means there are a few main goals. If you have one main goal, you're very narrow and single-minded. We're trying to make the school year for students as best as possible, and for that we actually need multiple goals.
Let's say this. Candace just said the main goal that Apex wants to achieve is communication. That's kind of contradictory, don't you think, right? Because Revive has been telling this. Communication is important, and it's been with us since day one. Apex has just been riding onto this last debate. Therefore, Revive actually has innovative ideas and knows what needs to be improved in the student council. They have no idea. They only went with the flow last debate. So this just shows that they're gonna run the same year as Ascend. Honestly, it's just the same as Ascend. Therefore, you guys should vote for Revive. Thank you.
So, as referred to slipping in the last second, going with the flow, I think that communication, I mean, we're a student council. We communicate with people. It's not really that hard to understand. Even if we put it in the last second or even put it before, you would know that a student council would be communicating with the students the whole time because they're a student council. They're representing the student body. And other than that, And other than that, as a response to you saying that the same year will be just like Ascend, I really don't think that Ascend has done such a bad job this year that going with Ascend is the worst idea we could ever have as a school.
Due to time constraints, I'm gonna have to move on to the next question. So Apex, you can present your next question.
Alright, now one of your main ideas your year plan is suggesting is to modify the school's Meatless Monday policy by improving the food that they serve. Have you considered the extreme efforts Chartwell's have put into serving all the students around the school? Now obviously you don't, because you're underappreciative of the food that Chartwell's is serving. Out of all people and out of all ideas, why do you think Chartwell's would listen to you and would read your so-called recipes? Now by implementing your recipes, Chartwell's will have to go through a whole change of production, imports of foods, leaving a more difficult job for Chartwell's to handle when they already have a much more difficult job of satisfying all the students' meals needs. Therefore, this revamp of the Meatless Monday policy provides much more inconvenience and disorganization to Chartwell's. Instead of bashing Chartwell's for not providing better food on the third floor, give them credit that they deserve, as they have spent countless of hours per day preparing and serve food on the table.
Sorry, but we'd like to say that we're not unappreciative of anything in this school. We also want to say that the school programs of Chartwell's have been altered before, and this has been part of this primaries program. And it's not that it is impossible, and it's not that you think that we're unappreciative. It's that it is possible for doing so, and we believe that we can do it to provide better school lunches for you guys, because we do want to think for you guys and accomplish every single change that we can for you guys.
Chartwell's, possibly slow down the speed. Okay, if this plan of yours would be successful, okay. Now, this not only, again, as I've mentioned before, provides much more inconvenience and disorganization, it would also probably slow down the speed at which students would get their lunch. Now, even the prices of the food would be more expensive. And the production process of Chartwell's, now adding to your inexperience with the student council, seems like this big idea of yours sounds more like an empty promise, doesn't it?
Can you please, how will it actually extend the wait time? Because nothing related. And also, how many of you guys actually like Meatless Monday? Not a lot. Okay, maybe you. Okay, so see, here we can identify the problems while you can't identify the problems. So we can improve. Everything can be improved. So we'll try to improve the Meatless Mondays. Maybe you can't identify the problem, and maybe you're not a reliable student council candidate.
To your question follow-up.
So I feel like you just mentioned not a lot of students like Meatless Monday, and I feel like most of the students here don't actually want to improve Meatless Monday, they just want to abolish the Meatless Monday because they want to enjoy meat in their school meals every single day. So I think that's the problem that we have, that really is what the students want to solve. And other than that, as you asked us how it will shorten the lunchtime, you're proposing an improved meal which will likely require more steps to prepare, and so Chartwell's have to spend more time to prepare these meals, which will slow down the rate at which they pump out the food to the students.
So first of all, I would like to clarify that this is exactly because we appreciate an initiative to be more healthy and to be more organic, that we are only suggesting a modification and not an abolishment to the Meatless Monday policy. And because we know that some of you like this policy as well, therefore we are only suggesting a modification which will suit more of your needs, as opposed to just abolishing it. And so, for a second thing, you have said that changing the policy will make things more complex. How will this change make the process of serving more complex? We don't really understand it.
We don't have enough time for another follow-up, unfortunately. So let's move on to the next question from Revive.
So you guys have been promoting the student council debate as a RoastCon. And all throughout the last debate, you guys have attempted to roast us by redirecting and avoiding to point out irrelevant and even false flaws among our members. This is rude, unprofessional, and not something of relevance to the student body. This shows that your team is more concerned with pointing out our flaws than discussing about policies relevant to the student body. You have transformed the debate into a petty fight between members when even your president has mentioned in her presidential opening speech that the debate will be about the students. How can the student bodies be sure that you are here for them and them only when you guys have only been focusing on roasting us all of the last debate?
I'd like to point out that it was several students' recommendation, or that they called it RoastCon instead of us, and we are students first and foremost, and we appreciate jokes, and we'd like you to learn how to take a joke, please. Thank you.
Try to propose a follow-up. 45 seconds.
Sure, roasts are great, but however, it's not constructive. It's pretty much just like a personal attack on, oh, I don't like that guy, I don't like that. And what you guys did last debate was you attacked Karen, and that was incredibly rude, incredibly unprofessional, and you're just like trying to do that to appeal to a younger audience. We believe that we should have a debate, a proper debate about policy, rather than a petty debate about attacking our members, or a personal attack and a very rude attack on Karen as well. Thank you.
I would like to point out that for those of you, because probably you guys haven't seen the last debate, the president of the party, Apex, did propose a question in regards to Karen's hair accessories, and that's where this question is coming from. Do you guys have a follow-up?
Firstly, I would like to say that we're having a very good debate about policies right now, and I think your point actually has nothing to do with policies. So how about you redirect your questions back at our policies instead of dwelling on things that's happened in the past?
We're talking about the last debate. I know we are having a great debate about policies right now, but last debate, you guys were more concerned about roasting us and personal attacks than of the student body, which is the first priority.
That was one small, brief follow-up to a question out of like 4 or 5 continuous discussions. It was a small part of the debate, and we also focused on your lack of your policies and their inabilities, such as the lack of coherency between your policies and your main idea, which was to rejuvenate the school. Thank you.
So he said it's a small problem. Once you insult one of our members, you have insulted our members, and they will remember that. If you call that a small mistake, so if you call that a small mistake, how are you reliable? Maybe you can offend anybody in the student body, and you can call that a small mistake and let it go past.
With all due respect, it was not an insult. We were citing Karen's hair accessory as not inappropriate, sorry, as breaking and in violation of the school rules. Thank you.
Hi, I'd just like to remind the audience to withhold your applause, because otherwise we won't have enough time to finish the debate and we might have a late lunch. Okay, follow up.
The funny thing is, that is actually false, because the handbook said there's absolutely no rules about hair accessories. Therefore, that attack is completely irrelevant, completely unnecessary, and we believe that is simply your personal attack on our cabinet. Therefore, you guys will expect them to offend you no matter and whenever they want. Thank you.
Could the audience please withhold their applause? I would like to apologize for that, but we really don't have time. Do you request a follow-up? Then you may present your next question.
So one of our members said something like, we are not reliable, but I'm sure you guys are actually the unreliable one. Why? Okay, here's the thing. Your promotional video opens with a shot of the exterior of the school, which was shot on the drone, correct? Yes. So according to the Civil Aviation Department of the Hong Kong government, the operator of an unarmed aircraft system flying your drone for over 300 feet is illegal. So with the fact that you do not follow basic laws and regulations of Hong Kong, how can we expect you to represent and lead the student body with the correct ethics?
Vibe, you must respond.
All right, cool. So, Apex, I don't really know why Apex brought it up, because how does this really matter to you guys? Do you guys, does it really matter to your livelihood of the school? Because honestly, they flew the drone as well, right? Like, we all flew drones, because apparently drones are a big thing, are a big thing now in promotional videos, therefore that's why you flew it. And to get that shot, I think that there's so many drone flyers in Hong Kong that exceed that height even more. So to say that we were breaking the rules, like, everyone who has a drone, I think they're all like flying above that expected height. So this is completely irrelevant to our campaign, therefore I don't really know why they brought it up. Thank you.
Okay, so the thing is you broke the law. You asked why it's relevant. So here's the thing. You represent the school. If you break the Hong Kong law, the school reputation will go down. That's very obvious. And we also use the road, that's correct. But we have not drove it 300 feet above the school. The school is not 300 feet.
What he means is that we kept the drone in the line of sight and within a reasonable height. Yours was filmed from all the way in Apley Chow, and most likely and most probably away from your line of sight and out of the reasonable distance. Thank you.
Okay, so it was also in our line of sight because we saw the drone. And also, after the child, that's a total joke. I'm somewhere over there. Our school is here. We didn't fly from after the child, so if you have watched a video, then you would know.
Even if that is true, you've still broken the law by driving it over 300 feet over the ground. As we can see in this screenshot here, this building here is over 300 feet tall, and your drone is clearly above the building.
You don't understand, so you won't follow.
Apex, would you like to further clarify your question?
I was saying that although if you kept it in line of sight, as seen in the video here, it was clearly over 300 feet, which is still breaking the regulations that drone must be flying up at or under 300 feet over ground level.
Do you guys request a follow-up? If not, we will move to open floor.
Okay, so from what you see, it's a bird's eye view. It doesn't have to go, according to math and geography, it doesn't have to go all the way up. It can go from this distance, so it doesn't go 3,500 feet up.
According to math and geography, here is the building. And this building is over not 300 feet tall, as stated in the official website. The drone is above the building. I don't know if you can see that. And so it is above 300 feet.
Seeing as there will be no follow-up, we will move to the open floor. Candidate parties will have 20 seconds to prepare, and you will have 1 minute to answer student questions. Students, you can address both or specific candidate parties when you're asking the question. We would also like you to state, if you don't want to say your name, at least state the class you're in when you're asking the question, and specify which candidate party you're asking it to. So, students, you may now raise your hands if you want to ask a question.
Just about the drones, laws are laws and rules are rules. If you can't follow the laws or the rules, how can you expect us to believe that you would follow your policies and improve our student lives?
You are addressing this question to Revive, yes? Yes. You have 20 seconds to prepare. You have 5 seconds left. Your time is up. You have 1 minute to respond.
Laws and rules are one thing, policies are another. Policies are something that we say we can do, and if we did break a rule or break a law, then that has no effect on whether or not we can implement a policy. That's completely different.
Does any other student have questions? Have one from...
Unless I'm wrong, in your proposal you said you both of you parties wanted to have like some sort of like Snapchat filter, and considering the fact that the current state of the school is in a mess, how is a Snapchat filter going to be a deus ex machina to revive the school spirit?
You are addressing this to both parties,
yes?
Yes? You guys have 20 seconds to prepare, and then I'll tell you who's answering first by coin flip. You have 10 seconds left. Candidates, your time is up. By coin flip, Apex will answer first. You have 1 minute.
The purpose of the Sharks Geofilter is to raise awareness for the VSA Sharks, and we would love for all students to be aware of our school mascot. This will be used during sports competitions after school, for example, basketball competitions or different sports days, sports events, etc. And this is only going to be a small project that we will work on side of our other projects, which will not impact our workload too much, and this will be probably implemented throughout the year, and we will try our best to do so. We really hope that you will raise school spirit and also the awareness of the sports mascot.
Revive, you may answer.
And as for our answer to your question, we want to thank you for asking that question, because we want to make it clear that our geofilters are actually a competition for art students to design their own filters for our school, so we can raise the school spirits, and we can also encourage our students to do more than just art on a canvas, but also digital art. And thank you for asking that question. Thank you.
Questions coming? Does anyone else have questions?
I would like to direct my question to you. Apex has said that they will be running a spicy meat competition across the school. It worries me that such school-wide operation might lead to unwanted bullying. How can you ensure that this is not a problem?
You have 20 seconds to prepare.
As stated in our year plan, there will be rules and regulations as to what is required in the spicy meme competition and for each submission. As Apex members will go through every submission to make sure that nothing is too inappropriate or offensive, and obviously if it's too offensive, it will not be published. And this is just for fun, just to take some stress off of some students. You don't have to participate if you don't want to. It's just targeted to students who enjoy the creation of memes. So yeah.
Thank you. And then you have a question?
Hi everyone. I'm Edward from Enjoy. I want to direct a question to both parties, as both parties has attempted to ask a question to try and debate about school lunches, and especially on Meatless Mondays. Most people hate these Meatless Mondays, or at least the people that I know hate them. You said you want to have a better and radicalizing the Meatless Mondays and quote thanking the Chartwells. Do you have any other plans that you can radicalize the vegetable dishes and giving suggestions to Chartwells instead of just pointing at their neck and saying, you've done a bad job on Meatless Mondays. Have you got any proposals for that?
Guys, have 20 seconds to prepare. Edward, your question is targeted to both candidate parties, right? Yeah. According to our agreed policy, you guys will have to answer the question anyways. Revive will go first by the flip of a coin. You guys have to respond now. We're gonna give them suggestions about what meals. For example, we're looking into vegan lasagna, vegan wraps, vegan pizza, vegan curry, vegan fried rice, and these menu items will be able would be able to enable us to get rid. Wait, we're just aiming for these meals. Yeah.
It proves that we can identify problems to the student council candidate because he has said that not a lot of people like it, and we understand it. That's why we want to improve that. Apex has not identified that, and therefore we will be a better student council candidate.
Audience, we don't have a lot of time. I really don't like cutting off your applause, but really don't have a lot of time.
First of all, we don't have any Meatless Monday policies or anything like that, but what we do have is an improvement of the lunch queue system on the 3rd floor. We plan to remove the kiosks on the entrance of the cafeteria just to remove the traffic, so not everybody's going to be stuck in the entrance of the cafeteria. We're going to move that to the end of the corridor, or at the end of the cafeteria, just to smooth things out, and also we're going to rearrange the ABCD lunch meals. You can read our year plan for more information. And when Revive said that we're not able to recognize any, I forgot what you said, I'm sorry, but but we have recognized the problem that students have having a frustrating lunch queue system, lunch queue experience when you guys are lining up in the lunch queue and waiting forever for a single lunch meal. So we hope that this system that we're planning to implement is going to resolve that. Thank you. Filling out the food vending machine. Woo!
All right, hey, any more questions?
In your previous debate, Revive stated that they are the only student council cabinet to ever do something for VSA and continuously bash Ascend. Is someone or a team that devalues others' achievements and only sees the faults in others fit to be a student council leader? The past student councils have actually successfully implemented plans, such as the 3rd lift that has recently been installed. How would you respond to this?
You're addressing this to Revive. Revive, you have 20 seconds to prepare. Only a couple of seconds left. Are you ready to answer the question, Revive? You have 1 minute.
In this case, Revive's definition of something is implementations that will benefit your school life in a tangible and impactful way. You are correct, something like the 3rd lift would have been one of these. However, it is more restricted than the 2 other lifts, which renders it somewhat redundant and not something of convenience like everyone thought it would be. Therefore, we have to not only implement policies, but also make sure that they are readily accessible for every student and that they will be something that the student body can actually use on a daily basis.
Do we have any questions from there? No? Okay.
This question is for Revive. So you didn't admit to any of your mistakes, so how can we... how do we know that you won't keep denying your wrongdoings in the future when you're not willing to admit that you broke the Hong Kong law? Or the mistake you made in your plan?
Revive, you have 5 seconds left. Revive, your time is up, you have to respond.
Well, I trust that we do not deny any claims about APEX's accusations of us breaking the Hong Kong law. However, we would want to say that, again, as I brought it up earlier in this debate, we are here to emphasize on transparency, and we hope that if there are any communication issues between our year plan or mistakes or anything, ask us about it and we'll actually tell you.
Hello, this question is directed to both teams. Can both teams briefly explain what sort of qualities and characteristics and experiences that they have that can benefit their role as student council and hence the student body, instead of saying things like out-of-the-box thinkers, which I believe any IB students can say that.
You have 5 seconds left. By a flip of a coin, Apex, you'll answer first.
Just to answer your question, thank you for your question. All of our team members have very many experiences regarding leadership and many different domains. So for example, performing arts, sports, and leadership, service, and a lot of different things, and also academics. We have 3 members from Ascend, as y'all know. Many of us are also officers for for this year's student council, and we have also experience with different class representative student government committees, and also our vice president has been a student council candidate last year as well. That's why we have a lot of experience with student council. Moreover, personally, I have many leadership experiences that will be able to lead the entire student body to Apex. Thank you.
Revive?
Well, we believe that to become a good student council and a good student council candidate, we need to be passionate and willing to do actual changes to the school. And we want to say that between the 8 of us, we have collected a lot of experience also to be outside of student council. For example, one of us is the core member of Animalization, a service club. Most of us participate in sports team, where we can actually take experience to failure, to teamwork, and to communicating with others. At the same time, we are also prefects, where we are good at noticing and observing different problems around the school. So if you question us that we don't have enough experience within the student council, some of us had been a student representative from our classes, and we want to say that we argue passion over experience, and we believe that collectively our new ideas can prove to you guys that we are good.
Unfortunately, that was the last question because we're running out of time. Just to remind you again, there is an election on June 29th, and then now we'll move on to the closing speeches by the vice presidents. By a flip of a coin, Apex vice president will go first. You have 3 minutes.
I'm going to try not to take that long. Well, so just again, I'd like to thank all of you, my fellow students and teachers, for all the serious and commitment that you guys have given us today. Throughout the course of the debate, we have discovered an array of things. On one hand, Revive has shown in this debate the complete lack of cohesiveness between their mission and their proposed initiatives. It's all serious. Their so-called new ideas, such as new sanitary products or hopes, will do not much to, as they say, rejuvenate the school spirit. They have not, in addition to this, we have proved their inexperience and failures of several of their cabinet members. This includes your inability to do simple tasks like a proper and functional year plan. This, along with the clear display of hypocrisy throughout the debate regarding their transparency, only serve to reflect their lack of commitment and probably their eventual inability to serve our school if they were to become our elected leaders. On the other hand, we have shown our superior experience and our ability to be able to recognize the students' needs and wants. Students, I highly implore you to choose the student council that you think will be the best for you. The one that will shape your school life and your school year into an actually enjoyable one. The team with clear visions, realistic goals, and that will actually deliver on their promises. Thank you.
Revive? You have 3 minutes.
A huge thank you to everyone here who has listened to this debate. As the Vice President of Revive, I have a few words to conclude. What you see here is a party that is not a continuation of the past. That will not carry on the trend that almost every other student council has followed, but a party that cares about the future of VSA and about each and every one of your school lives. In this debate, we are proud that we have highlighted and resolved some questions from students and the opposing team. Apex, although they have their experience, are not able to recognize the problems nor the improvements that is needed to make VSA better. We believe that Revive is the only student council that actually recognizes the needs and improvement that needs to be made from day one. We hope to see these ideas that we have brought up to be implemented at next year, and we can only do that with your votes. Revive is the student council candidate that hears your voices and wants to bring change to VSA. For you, for us, and for the student body. Revive as a party would like to remind everyone here that the entire reason why we're running for student council is because VSA needs a student council that takes into account the issues and problems that desperately needs a solution to in school and take initiatives in the interest of the student body. Although we recognize that negotiation with all these ideas with the upper management may well prove to be challenging, we have made it our duty to be transparent and communicate with you guys regarding every single progress that each policy is making. This is fundamentally what previous student councils lack in, since even though they may perform a lot of things behind the scenes, there's often a lack of communication between the student council and the student body, resulting in a student body not believing that the student council isn't really doing much impact. Staying transparency will resolve this issue. All in all, here's our final message that I would like to leave you all with. Your vote is a chance to make a difference at VSA. Think deeply about your vote, beyond your friendships and your obligations. Revive is your path to a future customizable by you. We would like you to remember that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being such good audiences today. So I know that we weren't able to get to some of your questions today because of the lack of time. So I would, because the vote will be next Thursday, so I highly recommend any students with questions to directly approach the candidate parties to ask them.